What can you say? What's your message to the team this week? I mean, I know you're not going to tell us everything you tell the team, but kind of what are you going to say to it? Maybe establish the mindset for this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the details. I mean, other than look, we're going up there to try to win a game, and we got to focus in on the details and make sure we're on point with everything that we're doing. And we know that we're going to have a tough challenge. I think Coach Belichick's teams are, like 70% win percentage after a loss. So they do a good job of responding, and we know it's going to be difficult. So I won't get into much, in terms of what the exact message is, but that's what it's going to do.
Dennis, you guys were able just to establish the ground game kind of to the point y'all wanted to. What would it do for the offense as a whole?
Yeah, look, I think any offense, when you're able to run the football effectively, it opens up so much more in terms of what you can do. And so, I think that's obviously something we want to be able to get accomplished. We'll see how this game goes. I think they make it difficult. They're pretty stout up front. I think their linebackers do a really good job of being instinctive in terms of where they're fitting in the gaps. I think this is a very good tackling defense. They're very disciplined. They're coached extremely well, and they're going to be tough to deal with.
Is it sometimes as simple as just one or two things not going right on a play that could end up kind of inhibiting how much you can gain on a given play?
Yeah, look, I think, when you get done playing a game, you come back and you look at the tape and you say, man, if we just missed the cut here, or if we could have just taken one more step here and gotten here, it could be a big play. And so I think that's where we're at offensively, is there's on some of these plays that haven't been as good, negative plays, call it, there's one little detail, one little technique, one little something that's kind of gone wrong, which is screw the play up, and you might have 9 or 10 guys doing it right, and one guy doesn't do it quite exactly how he's supposed to, and it ends up not being a good play.
Dennis, are yards after the catch, is that something you can manufacture like schematically, or is this just like kind of totally dependent on players making plays?
Well, I think there's some things that you can do schematically to try to increase that, and certainly try to get your skilled players the ball out in space, and create some space plays. I think that's certainly something that you can try to work with, try to scheme up.
Is that something that you come out of a game where obviously a player like Chris Olave only has one catch for 4 yards, and that's an area where you can try to get the ball in his hands sooner?
Yeah, and yet I would say there was play in the game where we did get the ball in space and didn't quite get as much out of it as we needed to. So I think this is a combination of we got there's a combination of scheme and plan that goes involved in that.
Hey, Dennis, speaking of Chris, and you may have not seen it as much last week, but he had some pretty spectacular catches at the beginning of the season. Was that something that he was known for at all when y'all scouted him? Did you see that on tape, or is that, part of his game that's shown up in the last few months?
No, I think that's something that you saw when he was playing, in college. Now, look, obviously in college, there was a little bit more space that was created in terms of, how he was having to make catches. And so it probably wasn't quite as many contested catches, in a college game setting. And I would say that that's not atypical. That's one of the things that you look at, when you're evaluating, call it receivers, tight ends, and when you're evaluating quarterbacks, the windows are much more tighter in pro football than they are in college.
Dennis, after the game, you obviously said you're going to look at everything, and from a play calling perspective, just situationally, have there been things you've identified that maybe okay, we're going to do this differently? Obviously, you don't want to go into specifically what those are, but are there elements that you've found through the first 4 weeks that you're looking at?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about what's happened in the past. We look at everything as we're getting involved in getting a game plan ready for a specific opponent. Situational, calls are obviously something that we look at. So, all those things come into account when you're putting together a game plan.
That's how much of this goes away if you guys are just able to kind of convert some of these red zone opportunities.
Yeah, well, look, I think red zone is an important part of the game, and so when we get down there, we've got to be able to score touchdowns. And obviously that's easier said than done. So, much like we were talking about earlier, we've had some good plays down there. Maybe we get a little bit, when you get one or two guys that don't quite do it exactly right. I've always said that, everything happens faster in the red zone, and so the attention to detail has to be much improved down there. So, man, that's really on both sides of the ball. I mean, that's what it's all about down there is being able to play fast, make quick decisions, and be extremely detailed in terms of where you're supposed to be at and when you're supposed to be there.
And when you're saying that, it's just because of the limited amount of space, I guess, you're working with just everything happening faster.
Yeah, look, the field shrinks down there, so the windows are much tighter. And so, if you're, a yard off out in the field, it's probably not as big a deal because there's a lot more space. But down there in the red area, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, Dennis, a lot has been made about the red zone challenges and some of the offensive play calling in-house. Just where's your confidence level at with Pete Carmichael and Derek Carr as a whole getting this offense to its potential?
Yeah, we're focused on putting together a good plan for New England. I feel great about what we've done so far. We're going to keep working extremely hard to put our guys in the best position to be successful. We're studying the heck out of New England, both offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game, and and then we'll go out there Sunday and have a good plan and go attack them.
Thanks, DA.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.